10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Season 3, Episode 1. I am Heather here with Dynasty Depot's Live-ish. I am bringing on Nelson. We are very excited for this show tonight. We've got Eagles fever here in Philly, but tonight we're talking rookies, and then we will eventually get into some Super Bowl talk. Nelson, how excited are you?
Heather, what a week this is for the Flying Birds coming up on Sunday, huh? Pretty exciting around here, isn't it?
Unbelievable.
It is. It doesn't get any better than this right now. This is one exciting week, and this is one exciting show. It's my favorite show of the year, where we're going to break down some rookies, and what a guest we got. I mean, there is nobody better than the Gridiron Scholar, John Laub, and we are excited to have him on. Thankful that he gives us his time because he knows we need his help, and he's a teacher, Heather, and he's here to teach us.
He's
19
so
years he's a teacher. Did you know that?
I do now, yes.
I did not know that either. So it's all good. So, hey, let's get going, and we're just going to bang this stuff out. We're not going to keep everybody long, but we're going to find out who these characters are and what they got and what John thinks of them, and we dig into a little, and I'm excited.
Awesome. All right, we'll get started off with a little promo plug here for Dynasty Depot. Guys, right now, if you have not tried us, please give us a try, dynastydepot.com. Right now, it's $5 for 60 days. If you're a member of FFPC, you'd be
Heather, that's like this. We're gonna call it the Subway deal, right? It's like the $5 footnote, right? Right, $5, right? What can you get for $5? You can get on Dynasty Depot for 60 days, or eat a Subway sub, and I'll take you 10 minutes. Go for the 60 days, Heather, right?
60 days.
Jesus, here we go.
All
so,
right.
Heather, I'm ready to go tonight. I need a little inspiration for this guy. This show is called Who Are You? Because we got to find out who these rookies are, Heather. Give me some kind of inspiration.
All right.
That's going to take a button.
I'm getting there.
Are we getting there? Without your inspiration, I'm not going anywhere.
Talk again for a minute about John as a teacher.
So John, 19 years, U.S. history. Should we just move on, Heather?
No, I'm not moving on. I want you to tell me he's been.
I don't know what else. I know John teaches history for 19 years.
That's all I can tell you. And he does not live in Arizona.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't.
I was messing it up with my good friend Bob Harris, so I got a little confused there. Are we getting any closer to the button? Yes. That's right. The Who. Who are you?
All right.
That button is gone, Heather.
Okay.
So, there's two things I love in this world. Three, actually. Football, which my Eagles. Classic rock. And the Gridiron Scholar, John Laub. Good evening, my friend.
Hey, good evening, man. Thanks for having me on. I know you guys are pumped because the Eagles are in the Super Bowl. Second time in 5 years, right? Totally new team. It's amazing. You go from Foles and Wentz and Peterson, and now you end up with Sirianni and Hurts. I mean, it's pretty amazing when you think about what the Eagles have done so quickly, flip that whole roster over, and it's going to be exciting Super Bowl. You know, I think what was in the top 5 closest games as far as the spread is concerned. They're 1.5 point favorite. So, 5 times the game's been within a 2-point spread. So, for those of us who love football, it should be pretty exciting on Sunday. And go Eagles, go. Fly, Eagles, fly. That's
fly, Eagles, fly, buddy. Maybe Heather will be able to push that button later for us, but we'll see if that happens.
I'll try. We'll see.
John, give me something general about this rookie class. Love it, hate it, big time. What's the Gridiron Scholars' take on this class?
It's not as good as everyone told you last year. Last year in Dynasty, Debbie, this is the class of all time, the greatest class. Trade away your picks. We just had a crop of rookies who were very good last year. Those receivers, and then when you add Tyler Algier, Isaiah Pacheco, You had guys late, Greg Dulcich. It was a decent crop. Yes, Kenny Pickett's the only one mattered at quarterback. But it wasn't as bad as people made it out to be when you really look at what the rookies did. I mean, look at Garrett Wilson. I think he's beyond good. I came on last year. I told you he was my number one wide receiver.
You did.
They had almost no – imagine if they had a quarterback like Mahomes with Garrett Wilson right now, or even Jalen Hurts for that matter. The kid is unbelievable. There's depth at the wide receiver position. Last year's class was better than people claimed, and this year's class isn't as good. Quarterbacks are weak. I don't even think the top two are great. I think they're good, but I don't think they're unbelievably great at the top. I think it drops off the cliff afterwards. The running back has depth. I do like the running back class very much. Wide receivers, some question marks in there. I don't think the wide receivers are as strong as last year. Look, we had Olave, Drake London. I mean, we had immediate, impactful fantasy rookies. Tight ends are better, but Trey McBride, I could argue, was as good as any prospect. Now, he played for Cliff Kingsbury in Arizona. We know the tight end position takes a while to percolate and grow. Dulcich showed us promise.
Yep.
K-Dot in Tampa Bay showed us promise. This year's class at tight end is probably better, but there's a lot of question marks. So I think it's good. It's not as great as people made it out to be.
You just brought up something. So I was reviewing our notes from last year, and you're pretty much spot on. And there's a quarterback that was your guy last year.
Yeah, I know.
That's going to be getting a chance this upcoming year. Probably going to get a chance.
Yeah.
Does he have a chance, Mr. Howell?
So I know you're referring to Sam Howell. He was my number one pre-draft quarterback.
Yep.
Obviously, he fell in the draft. I'll stand by my analysis. Did the NFL agree with me? No. I mean, I'd be foolish to come on here, and I think he went in the 5th round. So obviously the NFL and I had difference of opinions on his value. But it looks like right now he's going to get a shot in Washington.
Right.
And if you haven't been following the Commanders, they have some weapons on offense. Oh, I didn't even mention Jahan Dotson was a rookie last year. He scored 7 touchdowns. They have Terry McLaurin. They have weapons around Howell. Now, Howell played in the last game of the year, and I forgot who he played against. I forgot who was it? What? Did they play the Eagles? No, the Eagles beat them the week before.
No, we played the Giants last week.
Yeah. Oh, the Giants. Yeah, who that? Anyways, Howell looked okay. He was a rookie. As long as they don't bring in a veteran or draft someone, I don't see why Washington would draft a quarterback. They're not going to get Bryce Young or CJ Stroud. Yeah. Why would you bring in any of the other guys to compete with Sam Howell when you've given him a whole year? Right. Yes, if he opens training camp, I'm fired up for him because he's got people around him. They got a running game. You know Rivera's going to be conservative.
See, that's how I got you fired up to get ready for this show. I was going to bring up Sam Howell early in the show. I know that was your boy, and I knew that was going to get you on the JL roll around here.
I'm trying to be optimistic that he gets the opportunity to show us what he has. And he scored a rushing touchdown in that game. He played well.
He did.
He played well. He deserves a shot.
He did. So I did want to bring that up, and I appreciate that. So I'm going to, by the way, I have a guy that comes on our show all the time. I mentioned his name in the backstage, my buddy Alan Soslowski. And I refer to him as America's guest. So when I saw your show with him the other day, I'm like, there's 2 America's guests sitting on the same screen in front of me. It was amazing. I'm like, these guys are interchangeable, knowledgeable people, and they were both on the same screen. I just had to tell you that was exciting for me the other day.
Thank you very much. Alan is great. I love going on his shows.
I love Alan.
Sirius XM had me on his streamline for RotoWire Dynasty. It's a pleasure. And you know what? This is my favorite time of the year. Well, of course, I love the season, but the season can be a grind. You want to win your fantasy teams, ups and downs, all that. I just get to grind tape, plug in the numbers, and I get to talk football. It's just amazing to be able to have this opportunity. And you know, February used to be a dead time. Now it's an alive time as a sports fan. So I love this time of the year.
It's beautiful. Let's go to work. We're getting rid of Heather because it's like a man's talk right now, right? And I want to be like Alan and just be in the room with you. And I want to be like with America's guest by myself. I don't need Heather. I'll need her right now. I don't need it. Let's go to work, buddy.
All right, my friend.
Giving you a minute with each player, asking you for a comp on this guy. Like him, love him. Talk to me about these quarterbacks. Fire away, young man.
All right, I'm going to give you in my order because it's a little different than you have up on the board. I'll tell you why I have it in a different order. But at the top is C.J. Stroud.
Okay.
And when you're looking at Stroud and Young, you have to find it. They're very similar prospects from a statistical profile. Anyone who knows me, I have 6 benchmark stats that I'm looking for a quarterback to exceed that shows me he has NFL potential from a production standpoint. Both of them have 4 of my 6 benchmarks. That tells me NFL level success. Or potential, I should say. So I have that. So what's the difference? I like the film on both. I can give you things that I like on both. C.J. Stroud, what I like about him. Great, big, deep arm. Very good in the pocket. Does not make a lot of plays off script. If you protect him, though, and you give him the opportunity, he'll kill you from the pocket. He has the big arm. He is able to anticipatory throw, and he can go through his progressions. However, you can rattle him at times. But, how many quarterbacks in the NFL are unrattable when you get the heavy pass rush on them? Most of them can get nervous in the pocket. So when I'm looking at C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young, what's the difference in the two? I'm sorry, my friend. It is size. C.J. Stroud is 6'3", 215. Let's say he measures in at 6'2", 218. I don't know. It's somewhere, but that's
big kid.
Yes, he fulfills the requirement of the size. So I like his production model. Love the film work. Yes, he's not the best player off script. However, in one game against Georgia in the playoffs, he showed us that it's in his repertoire.
Had a lot.
He just didn't do it in the 2 years for whatever reason. Was it Ryan Day? Was it just the way they were playing against the opposing defenses? So he can make plays with his legs. So it's there. What offense will the coach develop around him? But I love the arm. I love the leadership. I love his deep ball. He throws with touch.
Let me ask you something about him.
Sure.
Deshaun Watson-esque?
No, I think Deshaun Watson was more dynamic than him as a playmaker off script. I would say he's more, you're not going to like this, Carson Wentzage. When Carson Wentz had a pocket.
If I had a button to mute you, I would mute you. We don't say the W name. Oh, see, you're gone. See? We don't say the W name ever in my house.
When he's in the pocket,
he can sling it.
Yes. And when he has time, he can sling it. Now, so you have to think about what the player was as a prospect. Wentz was probably a little bit more athletic, but I think C.J. Stroud has a better command of the deep ball and of a passing game that's more advanced.
I'm assuming he can go through his progressions better than Carson Wentz can.
At least Ohio State, yes, in my opinion.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay.
I think he played a more advanced offense than Wentz did at North Dakota State coming out of college. So I do like C.J. Stroud. Bryce Young, man, leadership, toughness, ability to lead men. His arm strength is great, but there is a major challenge from an NFL, in my opinion, NFL point.
I know what you're going to say.
I don't think he's 6 foot.
Right.
I think he's going to be lucky to be 5'11". There are people who say he's 5'10", and I'm not going to give a name. I have a very good friend who met Bryce Young and interviewed him last summer. I think it was at the Manning camp. It was at one of those summer quarterback camps. My friend is tall. He stood and interviewed Bryce Young. He says, John, he's not 6 feet. He's not. Now, he's listed at 194. That's a small frame. What if he comes in at 190, 188?
Right.
As an NFL quarterback, can he take the hits? Look at what's happened to Tua. Now, some of it's injury prone, but Tua's not the biggest man either.
No.
And the NFL game. Now, he did come out of college with that bad hip injury, but he got hit by a big man. I think it was Mississippi or Mississippi State where that hip originally went out on him at Alabama. And since then, what we've seen at the NFL level, his frame, and forget about the concussions, it's probably similar. But I'm not a brain expert, but the injuries are hurting to his ability to stay on the field and lead the team for 17 games. If Bryce Young is 5'10", 190, my friend, I'm sorry. He's going to drop in the draft.
You can't last in that league at that size.
You can't. You have defensive linemen 6'4", 290 pounds nowadays.
It's just the math doesn't work out, right?
No, and look, would he have his moments like Tua of brilliance? Sure. Absolutely. Tua, when Tua's healthy and the offense is clicking, he's looked great. But he hasn't even played a full season yet. So when I'm this close, my friend, I have to go size matters.
It does.
Size matters. And this is what I always think when I'm finalizing like real close, difficult prospects. I say to myself, if I was a GM and my family and my child's college education was banking on this decision, who am I going with? Now, I've seen interviews with both. So let's just say the interview went well for both, right? There's no red flags in either. I've seen them talk. I like both young men. I have to go size. I have to take the quarterback who can take the physical pounding. The NFL is a difficult, violent league. I just don't think Bryce Young could take that for 17 games a year.
Give me a QB that size. Give me a QB that size. It could be 5 years ago, whatever. Somebody that size, and the size ended up, it just wasn't big enough. Like Kyler Murray's a lot smaller than him, but he's also much thicker than him.
Now, remember Kellen Moore coming out of Boise State?
Yes.
He had unbelievable numbers. Now, he had a little pop gun arm. Bryce Young has an NFL arm. Kellen Moore did not. But Kellen Moore's small. Bryce Young isn't even as big as Drew Brees and Russell Wilson.
Right.
Everyone, I've heard a lot of people, well, Drew Brees, Russell Wilson, he's not as big. He's not even that. Both of them, I believe, are over 200 pounds. I believe both Wilson and Drew Brees were well over 200 pounds coming out. They were stockier frame.
What stockier frames?
Bigger frames. Bryce Young looks... Now, I'll admit TV can be deceiving. So that's why we want the combine to see what the numbers are. You want to know something? I have an idea. I don't think he's going to get weighed. Remember Devonta Smith didn't get weighed?
He didn't get weighed.
Nope. Why would Bryce Young get weighed?
He probably won't. Devonta didn't because he was probably $165 at the combine.
And
I'm on a scale.
If I'm Bryce Young's agent, I'm not letting him go near a scale.
Right.
He's not touching a scale.
Probably what's going to happen. He's still probably going to be the first pick in the draft, and you know, you don't need to get on the scale.
Yeah, I mean, and to me, that's risky. Do I love the production model? Yes. Here's some awesome numbers. This is how good he has been just from a production standpoint. 80 touchdowns to 12 interceptions.
Right.
That's sick, dude.
It's,
But CJ Stroud is 85 to 12. 85 to 12. CJ Stroud, 69% completions. Bryce Young, 66%. Now, this is where Stroud exceeds him, but it's because Stroud has had better teammates. 9.8 yards per attempt. Bryce Young is 8.8. Look at the receivers at Ohio State. Compare them against Alabama last year. It's not even close. Passing efficiency, 182 for Stroud, 165 for Young. So Stroud looks better in the production model, and then you're just a little, and then you're giving me the body type of CJ Stroud. I'm taking him. So we know those two. Let me go on to number 3. And my friend, in the 10 years, this is my 10th anniversary doing this with football diehards.
I can't wait to hear what you got to say about this guy.
Anthony Richardson is one of my most difficult challenges in the 10 years. I get it. The whole argument for Anthony Richardson is potential. I get it. And Mike Dempsey said this to me off. I think we were off when we were on break at Sirius XM. You're on a back room while the commercials are on. He goes, John, if they took Anthony Richardson's 10 best throws, 10 best runs, and that's all you watched, he would be the number 1 pick in the draft.
Okay, wait. I got to stop you there.
Go ahead.
There was a guy last year with 10 amazing throws and 10 amazing runs, went in the 3rd round, got some playing time this year, and it looked like I'll be nice and say 6 years away from being able to play NFL quarterback.
And I think you remember, I was down on Malik Willis. I said he's not ready for the NFL. I was probably lower. I don't have him in one dynasty league. I have Sam Howell. I was like, I'll take Sam Howell.
And I got Sam Howell also in those same leagues.
So we're waiting. We're both crossing our fingers. So let me tell you the good of Anthony Richardson. He looks like Cam Newton physically. 6'4", 230. What is that? 6'4", 236 pounds. Let me tell you the bad. He throws the football about as good as Tim Tebow. His numbers in my model are awful. 24 touchdowns to 15 interceptions. That's bad. That's bad.
Especially because you're playing Little Sisters of the Poor, right, half the time there.
Yeah. 7.9 yards per attempt. So both of those, he does not exceed my benchmark. Passing efficiency, my friend, 133.6. So we do not have an accurate quarterback who's done it at the highest level. Here's what really bothers me and why I was worried about Trey Lance and why I was worried about some other, and Malik Willis. Anthony Richardson's only played 19 games at quarterback.
Right.
That's a problem. I'm sorry. You got to see defenses. You got to prepare for defenses. You got to go over the mental grind of winning and losing. You've got to take the physical conditioning. For him to have played 19 games, I don't think he's ready to step on the field day one.
So John, it's funny because we didn't talk about this, but I just had this argument with somebody. How are you going to put a North Dakota State quarterback with 19 college starts, 3 NFL starts, and give up 3 first-round picks? That's my guy. I don't get that.
So I think we've been bamboozled by Josh Allen, who defied every rational.
Good point.
So everyone thinks they're going to find the next Josh Allen. There's only one Josh Allen. That's the problem, my friend. And look, I had him as like the number 4 quarterback in that class. I had a first-round grade. Now, did I think he'd hit this ceiling? No way. But he's improved. The coaching staff has put him in a situation to succeed. He ended up with Stephon Diggs.
Right.
He's a physical specimen. He can run. Everything worked for him. Everything.
The world came together at the right time.
All
And it was
came
perfect.
together.
It was perfect.
All came together.
Yet
What are the
we're
odds?
seeing some chinks in the armor with that young man toward the end of the year.
Yes.
'Cause
I don't know.
They're not playing Sunday because he turns it over a lot, man. He makes some
He
very
did it.
questionable
Yeah, he
decisions.
was very bad the second half of the year turning the ball over.
Now, he was hurt.
Yes.
But
So I think because of Josh Allen's success, everyone thinks they can judge a guy on potential. And I get it. If Anthony Richardson, everything works out, he could be Cam Newton. And people forget how good Cam Newton was the first 4 years in the league. He was great.
Here's what I think with him.
Yeah.
People are going to remember Willis from last year. And he went in the third round. And this guy, people have, they're talking about first round. I think he's going to go in the third round, just like that. I don't think he goes in the first round.
I wouldn't. I'll tell you this. I have a second round grade. I would not take him in the first round.
Right.
But teams are desperate.
Right.
That's the only argument, is a desperate franchise who so needs a player at that position. Will they? But then you know what they're going to do? They're going to put him on the field. That's the worst thing he could do.
Disaster. Talk to me about Will Levis.
I'm down on him. He's number 5, my friend.
Wow.
His numbers are not as bad as Richardson's in my model. However, he has some big warning signs too. 46 touchdowns and 25 interceptions. He's not great with the football. He doesn't make smart decisions. In context, Kentucky's not loaded. But still, you can be a smart quarterback on a bad team. 2, passing efficiency, 145.6. That's a concern. Another red flag. He's all right with yards per attempt, but a lot of those was because of who's the wide receiver? Wendell Robinson. The wide receiver gave him so many yak yards, and he got a lot of yak yards 2 years ago, so his yards per attempt are better than they look. He throws a lot of checkdowns, a lot of passes that I wasn't happy with. But he did play 32 games.
Right.
So that's okay. I have a 30-game benchmark. I do think he can step on the field day one. Now, how good he's going to be, that's a different story. But
big arm, right?
Big arm.
Big.
And he is physical, 6'3", and I believe he's 232.
People going to look at him like he's Josh Allen?
No, they're going to say Daniel Jones.
Okay.
That's, I think, in my book, that's the better analysis, is Daniel Jones. Played at Duke, had a similar profile, in a tough conference. ACC isn't the SEC,
right?
But Duke was in a program that's at the top. So right. Daniel Jones, but look at how many dynasty, this is kind of rhetorical. How many dynasty owners do you think still have Daniel Jones from when they drafted him anymore?
Zero. The answer is 0.
There you go. So as a dynasty asset, Daniel Jones was not worth the draft pick, and you probably traded him for a second or third round pick somewhere along the line.
And then traded back for him for a first this year.
So I think Will Levis is in that bucket. He could be Daniel Jones, good or bad. So that's a wide range of outcomes. And I know this isn't the best, but I've watched 40 years of NFL and college football. Will Levis doesn't pass the eyeball test. That's subjective. That's why I have a model.
Yep.
I get the traits. I see them. But when you actually watch the game, not on tape, I think it's important to watch the whole game. How's the huddle? Is there delay of game penalties? Is he in command? Is he confused? Does he look flustered?
How's he running the operation
on the sideline?
Right.
Those things matter, and Will Levis has failed every time I see him, dude. Every time I saw him, I left the game going, what is there? What are people looking at? How can they like him this much? I mean, There's flashes. Yes, there's flashes. But I have a second round grade. I would not invest my franchise in him either.
Give me your number 4 that you would have put up here.
Hendon Hooker. He's
Okay.
the Sam Howell this year. This is how good he is from a numbers standpoint. 6 of 6. He hits every benchmark, my friend. Shatters it. He's big. I don't think people understand how big Hendon. He's 6'3", 208. He holds his weight well. He just got measured at the Senior Bowl, so we know that's official 208. Man, 80-12 touchdown to interception ratio. This young man, even at Virginia Tech, he didn't turn the ball over. That's what I mean by you can be at a bad program and not have a lot of touchdowns, but you can be good with the football and not turn it over. Even at Virginia Tech, Hendon Hooker did not turn the ball over. His career was 80-12. People tell me he's inaccurate. You know what? I said the same thing about Jalen Hurts, and I had tons of Jalen Hurts. His percentage of completions, I don't care what people think subjectively. He completed 67% of his passes. They said the exact same thing about Hurts. Hurts was inaccurate. And I said, the numbers tell me Hurts completes 68% of his passes. What is inaccurate? I don't get it. Accuracy is the most judgmental, subjective analysis that anyone can make. I just go by numbers. If the ball's completed, now I understand remember Fran Tarkenton, the quick dump off?
Yeah.
Hendon Hooker's not, watch them tell you, that guy is chucking it 20 yards down the field. Same thing with Jalen Hurts.
So give me, we just talked about 5 guys.
Yeah.
Give me quickly names that pass your eye test.
Stroud, Young, and Hooker.
Say again?
Stroud, Young, and Hooker.
Heather, let's move on to some running backs. Very interesting, man. So let's get into some RB talk here. I see lists, rankings. There's stuff all over the place here. And there's a lot of them that people like a lot of them. You said something early in the show. It's a deep running back class. It is. People's rankings on these guys are high. When was the last time you saw 6 or 7 running backs, in a top 10 list in Dynasty? It's moved to wide receivers. You got to have the wide receivers, but there's a lot of backs. Let's talk about the 101 guy himself right now. Give me a comp and what you love about him.
He's Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry. That's the comp.
Good comp.
He runs as hard and strong as Henry, and he's the pass catcher that Saquon Barkley is. And in my 10 years, in my model, the 5 best backs are, not in any order, Zeke, Barkley, Jonathan Taylor, Breece Hall, and Bijan Robinson.
Wow.
I have not made a final decision where I'm going to rank Bijan all time as a prospect yet amongst those. But that's how good he is. And think about, I loved Breece Hall last year. I never wavered. I liked him before he went to the combine. Then everyone saw how athletic he was. I'm like, oh, come on board the Breece Hall train. I've been on the train all year. Come on board, gentlemen. I'm all for you. Because I knew Breece Hall was special. And then he ran that time. What is it? Like a 4.39, 4.38?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden,
good night.
That train was rolling. Now, the injury sucks. There's no question. But you know what? He was great before. And he was going to have a special year if he had stayed healthy.
He was the league winner.
He was, dude. He killed so many of my teams, redraft, dynasty. I was heartbroken when he, like, a little bit of me crumbled inside when Breece Hall went down last year. Because he was my 3rd running back in redraft leagues, dude. I was playing him in the flex position.
Man.
It was so good to have him.
It's got a lot of talent. When he gets healthy and they put a quarterback in that backfield, which they probably will this year, it'll be somebody, Derek Carr, somebody like that. He passed the eye test, by the way.
Oh, he passed the eye test.
Did. Go
did.
move on. We don't got to talk about Bijan much. We know
Everyone
that's where it is. These other guys, a lot of good players here. Talk to me about it.
I'm going to show you're going to throw for a loop right now. The best value in dynasty football. Telling you right now, my number 2, Zach Charbonnet, UCLA. Get him. Get him. Dude, 6'1", 220 pounds. The NFL loves Zach Charbonnet. I'm a sizist. Give me the big back. Zach Charbonnet hurts people. He can play in the gap. He can play in zone. I think he's better in gap than zone, but he can run out of both formations. He's a pass catcher. He has 75 career receptions. Now, I don't think he's as good of a pass catcher as Bijan. Even though he has more receptions, he's not as dynamic. He had a 28% scrimmage yards dominator this year, averaged 5.9 yards per carry. He is everything you want in a back. Charbonnet right now is the best deal in dynasty and fantasy best ball drafts. If you're doing one, Charbonnet's the guy that you got to get. He's going to go in the second round. The NFL likes him better than the Twitterverse. He might run a 4.42 at 220 pounds. And if he does that, forget about it. Forget about it.
John, what I think is going to happen, because there's a lot of free agent running backs, right, in the NFL. So I think what you said is right. A bunch of these guys are going to go in the second round instead of paying Sanders, whatever you got to pay him. Let's pay this guy on a 4-year deal, right? And I think you're going to see some turnover. The running back market's going to be tough because there's a lot of good backs coming out here.
You want to know something? I feel bad for the veterans. They're going to get in trouble this market. It's not good. It's they're free agent in the wrong year of all years to be a free agent.
Right.
Number 3.
Talk to me about these other guys.
Jamar Gibbs is my number 3. Part of the reason why I have him below Charbonnet, he's only listed at 200, 5'11". I'm concerned that he comes in under 200 or maybe 202, 5'11". I'm a sizist. Size matters. I'm hoping that he's between 200 and 205. We need that for him to get the workload that we want, my friend. But he is a dynamic pass catcher. He might be the best receiver in this class. Watch the film at Georgia Tech because they were a worse team. They used him more dynamically in the passing game. Now, Alabama used them because they're just Nick Saban smart and Bill O'Brien. But they had to use him at Georgia Tech. So you see him running like 20-yard routes down the field. He is a special teams contributor, kick returner, day one. He will be on the field as long as he hits that 200-pound threshold. No matter what, he'll be drafted. But he's my number 3 right now. I like Jamar Gibbs a lot.
Hey, John.
Yeah.
James Cook-esque?
Better than James Cook as a receiver down the field.
Okay. But when I see them, I kind of James Cook in my...
Oh, it's not a bad... I think he's a better runner than James Cook. James Cook might be bigger and strong. He is. He's bigger and stronger.
Bigger,
you know, Gibbs might be better. He's a better receiver, I think, in my book, if I'm looking at it. And I think he's a little bit more dynamic on the edges.
Zach Evans.
You're going to be shocked. I have him at number 8.
Okay.
I'm not as high on him as everyone else. I'm bypassing him. I'll tell you right now, I will probably have 0 shares of Zach Evans in Dynasty.
Wow.
Because I'm not willing to pay the freight. There are people who love him.
Yep.
And I don't like him in my model. And I don't like the eyeball test, my friend. He always leaves me wanting more. Always. He's got the tools. He's got the size. I see it. But somewheres, don't you have to do it? Like there's a point in your life where you have to do it. And I never see that with Zach Evans. So let me give you the guy I'm going to have a ton of, at least early on until people catch up. Israel Abanikanda out of Pittsburgh, dude. I knew he had size. I didn't realize he was 215. 215. He is special, dude.
I like him.
I have him at number 4 on my list, and he's coming cheap right now in Dynasty and Redraft. And you just said it. Why would I sign a free agent?
You won't.
When I can draft in the 5th or 4th round Israel Abanikanda? Look at what Isaiah Pacheco did. Look at what Tyler Algier did.
It's like, right. So, I think everything Philly, because I only care about Philly. I only care about my Eagles. I only care about this Sunday. But I know with Miles Sanders, first of all, Kenny Gainwell can't carry the freight a full game. He can't do it. And they use him great. Best bet on the prop board this weekend is Gainwell over 18.5 yards. He's going to get 7 carries in that game. I love the 18 over half, not to talk gambling. It's a family show. But the Eagles, why? I mean, I just saw with the mock on ESPN today. You know what? You know they had him going at 110 today?
Was it Jahmyr Gibbs or
no? It was at first round 10th pick. They had him picking Robinson because it's a lot cheaper option. It's going to be to re-sign Sanders or Jacobs or Barkley or whatever you're going there.
And it is a cheaper option, much cheaper, and you don't have any wear on the tires.
No, it's a cheaper option. It's great info. It's cool. Move on to wide receivers, Heather. We got some characters here for sure. So I'm going to, before you say this, I'm going to tell you I'm confused about the wide receivers this year.
Interesting.
I'm a little confused about what I like and who I like. So break these guys down for me. What's going on? I mean, everybody's so enamored, right, John? Like you pick a wide receiver, you can't miss.
Not lately.
The last few years, right? You can't. Oh, Burks is laying there at 110. I'll take Burks. Well, he looks like he's going to be a pretty damn good player to me. He passes the eye test to me.
Yes, he does.
When somebody can get somebody to throw it to him. Talk to me about these guys, man.
I'm going to give you my number 1 because I have no concerns with him.
Yep.
It is Jordan Addison.
Yeah, a lot of people.
He's Stephon Diggs. He is Jerry Jeudy. And he is Garrett Wilson. You are guaranteed a super high floor. His floor is Jerry Jeudy. And even though people are disappointed in Jeudy, he's not a flop. He hasn't achieved his ceiling, but he's not a bust.
Nope.
He's a decent fantasy asset. Great third receiver. If he's your top receiver, you're not so happy. But he has Stephon Diggs upside. I think he's the best route runner in the class. He's the former Biletnikoff winner from 2021. 219 career receptions, 14.3 yards a reception. And you know what I love about him? He switched programs. He went from Pitt to USC. His numbers weren't as good at USC because Lincoln Riley. This is where it matters, knowing the team, the scheme. Lincoln Riley doesn't pepper his top guy. He spreads it around at Oklahoma.
He was acrobatic at Pitt, man.
Dude,
acrobatic.
He makes catches. You're like, that is sick.
Yeah, right.
That is sick.
I love him. I
love him. And what I love about him, he can beat you quick or deep. He has immediate burst off the line of scrimmage. He can get open in, a flick of an eye, or he can give me 2 seconds and it'll be 20 yards behind you in the field. Devonta Smith, Stephon Diggs, Jerry Jeudy, this size body, I think he's 175. Let me see what he is here. 175, 6'0", 175. I'm all in. He's my number 1.
Like him. I like him too.
I think he's going to go to the Giants. We'll see what happens. But I love him. Then I have Jackson Smith and Jigba number 2. And I hear he's falling. I've watched both years of film. This year, something happened. He got hurt. Ryan Day's very conservative putting his stars on the field. He also had this kid named Marvin Harrison Jr. on the team.
Not bad.
And he had another guy,
bad.
Emeka Ibuka. So why are you playing Jackson Smith and Jigbu when you have the other two guys who are next year's first-round picks?
Right.
So then I think Smith and Jigbu got upset. He probably said some things he shouldn't have. You know, he wanted to come back from reports. Excuse me, but Ryan Day didn't put him on the field. But go back to the film 2021.
Player.
He's special, dude.
Yeah.
And he played on a team with Olave and Wilson. And you know what?
Right.
By the end of the year, he was the best receiver on that field.
Right.
So I love him. He's 6'0". I think he's over 200 pounds. Let's see what he is, what I have here. 6'0", 197. But you have to watch both years of tape. Number 3, Quentin Johnston. But he's the biggest risk. The highest
question mark. He confuses me, man. Like, I'm
deservedly
not sure.
so. Dude, there are games where Quentin Johnson disappears for 2 quarters. Like you're watching TCU.
Yeah.
They're throwing the ball all over the yard. They're beating a Big 12 team. And you look and you're like, I don't think I've seen a pass thrown to Johnson.
Is he hurt?
and I go to my little cell phone and I'm looking up the box score and Johnson has 1 target at the end of the halftime. You're like, what is happening? Like, how can an alpha male not be targeted? And he had Sonny Dykes. Sonny Dykes is a wide receiver quarterback guy. Why did he not feed him? Like, it is bizarre.
How big is he?
He's very, so he's got that Julio Jones, AJ.
That's what I was going to say. He's like Julio's kind of size.
6'4", 193.
Yeah, he's big.
That's what people like because the size. And at times he's special.
And what did Burks come out at last year?
What?
What was Burks' size coming out last year?
Oh, he was over 200. That's why he was so physically dominant.
Yeah.
He's more of the A.J. Brown physicality.
Right.
Johnson, I don't think Johnson's that physical of a player. I like him. I have him at number 3. I'll tell you I'm going to have a lot of, and I'll get to Butte in a second. My 4 and 5. 4 is Josh Downs. 5 is Zay Flowers. They're the prototype. These quick twitch athletes, they can get open in a second. They can beat you down the field. Not convinced they're not your classic alpha male, but if they're like Devonta Smith in a way, if you put them next to AJ Brown type of guy, dude, you can't cover these guys.
Right.
I mean, Devonta Smith can't be covered.
You can't cover him.
Because you can't one-on-one.
No.
Because you got AJ Brown on the other side. You can't do nothing.
Right.
If you get Josh Downs and Zay Flowers with the right teammate, you put one, let's just say magically in Tennessee. Forget the quarterback for a second. Just put them in a team where they got Burks on one side, and then you got Josh Downs and Zay Flowers just eating up your second corner. Forget about it. Or put them in Buffalo with Stephon Diggs.
Are they second-round picks?
Yes, I think they're second.
That's what I felt.
But I think they might be pushed. I have a second-round grade, so I'm a tough grader. But the NFL, because of the way the league is going, and everyone wants, they've seen. Look at the other than the Chiefs, which is bizarre that they're this far with no receiver. Right. But you got the Eagles. Look at what happened to Dallas without anyone next to CeeDee Lamb. Look at what happened to the Bills with no one next to Stephon Diggs, right? Teams are looking at the Eagles' blueprint. And what's the other? Oh, Miami with Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. You look at the blueprint and you say, I need a second guy. I need a guy who can dominate.
Usually adds up to 30 points a game with those teams.
It does. So they might push him up. Does that make sense?
It does. It does.
Butte. I'm at number 8. And here's why.
Mm.
Everyone looks back to the freshman year.
Right.
If you remember, Terrence Marshall walked away from the program.
Yeah.
They were having a bad year and he wanted to go pro. So Booty was a freshman. And his last 4 or 5 games of that freshman year were as good as any receiver I've ever seen. They were unbelievable. But my friend, since then, he's bad. He's bad. Everyone who's watching this right now, take out those 4 games Boutte went nuts and look at his numbers. They're awful. And that was in 2020 COVID, when their offense fell apart and they were just feeding him. He's not been good since then. He was a major disappointment last year. I get it. They're all looking at this incredible gemstone that popped for 4 games in 2020. Man, I'm not banking my career or my number 1 pick on 4 games as a 19-year-old at LSU.
Well, coming at, people look at it, he's coming out of the factory, right?
That's it.
Look at the factory they're producing, man. They produce, you see what they produce, the factory.
That's why.
Yeah.
But,
right.
That's why. But I have him at number 8 because
right.
I don't know yet. He's never made it through a full season, my friend. I don't think he's ever played 10 games in a season.
Okay, buddy. Moving on. I told you I was confused, and there's some confusion there with some of those guys.
They're tough. It's a tough group.
It's a tough grade for a novice like myself. It is. Why? Tight ends, Heather. We could. I thought. Okay. Thanks, Heather. So this is an interesting class because what I've seen is there could be 2, possibly 3 first-round picks on tight ends this year. Now, some of them are on speculation, like one of my friends up here. Some are not as much. Talk to me about that.
Michael Myers, my number 1. I cannot discount the body of work over 3 years. Freshman breakout star. I think he had 46 receptions as a true freshman. Been unbelievable at Notre Dame. He's not going to test off the charts. He is not Kyle Pitts. I get it. That's not what he is. But he is one hell of a 2-down tight end. He can smash you in the run game. He can beat you in the red zone.
Let me give you a name and you tell me because I think this will help people.
Pat Fryermuth, Tyler Eifert.
I was going to give you Zach Ertz.
Oh, I don't think he's as dynamic as Zach Ertz.
But he's a better blocker than Zach Ertz.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes. That's why I like Fryermuth and why the same thing with Eifert, the old Bengal who just ended up. He had that great year. He just got injured,
He got hurt too much.
Yes, he got hurt too much. I think the NFL is going to love Michael Meyer way more than the Twitterverse. And I get it. He's going to go to the combine and you're going to go, ooh, he ran a 4.8, 4.9. I don't care. He's a football player. You know what?
He's Fryermuth's football player. Who doesn't want him on their team?
Exactly. He's a football player.
Right.
He's a Pittsburgh Steeler tight end, but they got one, so they're not going to draft him. But I like him. His ceiling is probably 65 to 70 receptions. He's probably not your 85 reception tight end. But give me 68 receptions with 9 touchdowns.
It's Fryermuth.
I'm good to go.
Fryermuth.
Yes, good to go. I love him. He's my number 1.
What else you got?
Number 2, Dalton Kincaid. However, there's some concerns about his medicals. There's no question about him as a wide receiver. Now, he's more of your Zach Ertz, Travis Kelce. He's efficient in the run game. He's not dominant, but he can get down the field. He can beat you down the seam. He can beat you outside.
Evan Ingram?
Yeah, I think that's the best analogy, my friend. I do.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit better of a more physical player than Ingram. Ingram's not the most physical tight end, but I think receiving-wise. But there's rumors about his health. Here's the thing we're going to know about Kincaid. If he goes in the second round, the NFL likes his medicals. If he goes in the third or later, I'm done. I'm out. That means the medicals are bad, my friend.
Okay.
So it's all going to depend on draft capital with him.
Okay. That makes sense.
Tucker Kraft's my number 3. Man, he is 6'5", 255. He's from South Dakota State. He's a jackrabbit. I watched the 2 playoff games. If you don't know, they won the championship at that level, FCS level. Watch the semifinals and the championship game just to watch Tucker Kraft. Now, he absolutely dominated at the FCS level, but he's got the size, physicality, and enough athleticism. I think he could be the number 2 tight end off the board. I like him a lot. I'm not as sold on Darnell Washington. I have him at number 5. My model doesn't like him. I get it. He's kind of Jelani Woods is his ceiling. Jelani Woods is a nice.
Isn't he 6'7"?
6'7", 265.
Yeah,
But he never put it together, my friend.
Yeah.
I mean, I watch a ton of Georgia's been on TV. How much over the last couple of years, right? He didn't even start. I know Brock Bowers is special. We'll talk about him next year's show. But Washington, to me, is lacking something of a receiver. The NFL is going to buy the size. They're just going to. They're going to 6'7", 2. You can't coach size.
He could end up like a Donald Parham kind of guy.
Yes. Or Jelani Woods.
Right.
Okay.
Well,
Here's who
I'm not willing to write him out of the script yet.
Look it. If he went in the first round, my friend, I would re-debate everything.
Right.
But I think he's going to go late second, early third. But we'll
with
see
the
what
train
happens.
wreck in Indy, I'm not willing to say Jelani Woods is out. He had a couple, sparks in there, that 1-2 touchdown.
Oh no, he has some upside.
He's somebody you might want to look at in round 19.
Yes. But I don't think he's going to be a star.
Probably not.
And then my number 4, who I like, Sam Laporta. I'll bet on Iowa tight ends. Laporta comes out 6'4", 249. He has 153 career receptions. This is amazing. We all knew how bad Iowa was as an offense this year. They might have been historically bad the first 8 weeks of the year. He had a 32% dominator of possibly the worst offense in out of 130 teams. You could make the argument that Iowa had the worst offense in the nation, and he had 32% of the team's passing yards. That's insanity, dude.
Right.
They had no quarterback.
No.
And they had no wide receivers. And everyone had to stop him. And he still got 32% of the passing yards. And he's a good receiver. And he's going to be able to block. And coaches are going to like him as a third-round pick. Because they, like you said, there's the factory at LSU.
Factory.
Well, there's an Iowa factory at tight end.
Factory.
The scouts are going to say, you know what? We bring him in. He can start day 1 in the NFL for us. Let's take him in the 3rd or 4th round.
So we'll get out of the tight end. I got a question from the Twitterverse people or whatever these people are. Nick Singleton or Bijan Robinson?
Oh, Bijan. And I like Singleton a ton, but Bijan's bigger. Singleton might be faster, but I don't think he's as good between the tackles as Bijan either.
Hey, he's a Homer guy. I figured. Anyway, hey, move on. Hey, let's bring Heather back in here. It's great information. Heather, are you alive?
There she is.
Look, her eyes are
I
open.
don't know why you think I'm so fast. I mean, I appreciate that you think I'm that fast, but I'm not.
John, America's. I got. You know what, John? Since last week we AG1 and John's AG2, America's Guest 2. When you put them both together, it was a fabulous show. Alan, I love
super
you.
guest.
Super guests. Right. Super knowledgeable guests, by the way. But I want to do a quick little mock here. Where's John's head right now? Standard. Top 5 guys. Give me your top 5 standard right now.
So I'm not going to put a quarterback in there.
No, not in standard. You're not.
No, yeah. It's going to be Bijan. Then I'm going to go Jordan Addison. Then I'm coming back to Zach Charbonnet. Then I'm going Jackson Smith and Jigba, and I'm going Quentin Johnston.
Interesting. And in super flex,
I'm going Bijan.
so you're going Bijan on both. And you know what? And all the stuff I'm seeing, Bijan's going 101. Doesn't matter.
I'm going to take him in the top in pick 7 in redraft leagues. I don't care where he lands. I saw it with Saquon. I saw it with the Zeke Elliott right away.
Right.
It's just no question. It doesn't matter. He's a top 7 fantasy in redraft.
Crazy.
It's just that easy. So then I'm going to go in super flex. It's going to be Bijan, CJ Stroud, Jordan Addison. Then I'm going to go Bryce Young. And then I'm going to add in Zach Charbonnet.
Wow, you're really high on him, man.
Yeah, but here's the thing. And everyone, you don't have to pay him that early. He's going to now, he might creep up as the season goes along. I'm all in. But right now, you don't have to pay the freight for Zach Charbonnet.
Right. You don't.
I'm ahead of the curve on him.
Really interesting. Do you think that anything he does at the combine?
When he runs a 4.44 or less,
Right.
He's 220, my friend.
Right. I know he's a big boy.
He's a big boy. And you know what? I have visions of him playing in Tennessee with Mike Vrabel behind that run in that gap run game. Sit for 1 year behind Derek. And then let the young man
they run the same offense for 20 years? Are you allowed to do that? Hand it to the back 35 times for 20 years straight?
Hey, I mean, he would be dangerous in that Tennessee run game.
That's crazy. Okay. Thank you for your knowledge on that. Let's move on and talk to something even more important, like my Philadelphia Eagles this weekend. I'm going to give you my thoughts on the Super Bowl because I just want to talk, and then I want to hear your thoughts. My thought is the Eagles haven't played really a close game all year. You could throw a couple of things in now when they had 4 turnovers against Washington, where basically they've blown everybody out all year.
Yep.
Okay. In the playoffs, they rushed the ball both games 44 times a game. I don't see how this is going to be any different. They have the weapons to throw it. They can throw it. They can run it. They're going to out-physical Kansas City, in my opinion. I just was at the game last week and watched those Niners come in. And, man, I'm not putting down anything. I will put down Ayuk and Kittle for their whining about the quarterback. Well, maybe you should go to Shanahan and say, sir, why did you have the third-string tight end trying to block Hassan Reddick? Maybe you want to ask your coach that, not whine that your quarterback's got knocked out. Knocking out the quarterback, cutting off the head of the snakes, part of football. So
it definitely is, brother.
I'm going to leave that at that. I don't see Kansas City being physical enough to play with Philly, in my opinion. I see a 37-20 kind of game. I don't think they're going to be able to stop Philly, and they will eventually get to Mahomes and rattle him, as great as he is. And I haven't seen him rattled too much. I think you're going to see it. This Super Bowl reminds me of the Seattle-Denver Super Bowl 7 years ago, maybe, where Seattle, what was it, 48-10 or whatever. They just killed them. And they just killed Denver. Just physical with a great defense and ran the ball. And I see it like that. What do you see?
So I don't have any dogs in this fight. I'm betting on the better defense. It's Philadelphia. Aren't they the number 2 all-time sack team? Isn't that the number
correct?
They put up?
The 85 Bears, correct.
Yes. I will say this.
2 away from the 85 Bears.
There you go. If I'm Sirianni, I'm talking to that defense every day and saying you are getting disrespected. And there's one man you got to cut the head off the snake. And I don't care if you want to get a little dirty and get thrown off hitting Mahomes in the leg. Go, feel free, young man.
Whatever.
I mean, I'm going to go after Mahomes with that leg. I'm going to make him feel that leg. Maybe one of my coworkers, she was looking at me. She was asking me out the game. And I said to her, man, I'm going to hit Mahomes' leg. as many, and she's looking at me like, I'm like, this is a violent game. I have too much Mike Ditka and Buddy Ryan in me,
You're
man.
going Karate Kid on him. You're going to tell Johnny to sweep
Swipe
the leg.
Swipe
Oh, my
the leg.
God.
You're a total
This is
Philly
the
fan
goddamn
at heart.
Super Bowl.
I mean, Johnny.
I don't look at. They took Reddick. They took Brock Purdy out. Now he wasn't going to win that game on the road anyway, so that's all.
Right.
Everything is an excuse.
Right.
He wasn't going to win that game.
Nope.
But the Eagles hit the quarterback.
Yep.
We have a quarterback with the bum leg.
Yep.
You got to hit him.
Gonna get.
I don't care. They don't
get
have a receiver. Lock them up 1-on-1, 2 quarters. Just tell you say, is there other corner? Who's the other guy? Who's the other corner for the Eagles?
Bradbury and Slay.
There you go. And all you say, lock them up. Lock them up. And I'm just telling my front seven, go kill Mahomes.
Right.
I'm sorry. That's it.
Right. I mean, Kelsey's going to have his 10 catches for 120 and a touchdown or two. That's going to happen. Nobody can stop him. He's the greatest, whatever. But there's nobody else that scares me. I mean, last week coming into that game, you're looking at McCaffrey, Kittle, Ayuk, you Debo. You're looking at weapons. What are you showing me? What are you bringing to me? The Juju across the middle for 5 yards and Pacheco, who's nice. I like him. But
I like Pacheco.
Not McCaffrey, man.
You're not winning the Super Bowl with Pacheco.
Well, we're going to find that out. Give me a score.
31-17, I have penciled down.
Yeah, we're similar. Heather.
Yes,
talk
sir.
to me. Score. Thoughts.
Oh, I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? You know everything.
I don't know. I don't know what the score is going to be. I mean, I know the Eagles are going to win. It's going to be awesome. And Monday's going to be great. My kids already have a 2-hour delay.
Shit, we already scheduled. The parade's already scheduled for Wednesday in Philadelphia.
I'm saying it's almost like, we can play the game, but we're going to win. It's very exciting.
I will say this. I think for a team that's as good as Philadelphia, and if you put their numbers and record up all time, this is a good team. I do not understand why people don't respect them. It's really bizarre.
Well, here's why. I'm going to tell you why.
Go ahead.
Because they did not play a hard schedule. The Kansas City people and the Kansas City lovers are, we played Burrow all the time. We played Josh Allen all the time. You played Aaron Rodgers and you broke the quarterback's arm, that. Play Dak Prescott, psychotic, throw the balls to you half the time. That's what they're saying. But over an 18-game schedule, when you just pound people historic yards rushing, we're not coming out and saying there's going to be much finesse going on. I mean, A.J. Brown probably catch a 70-yarder across the middle. Devontae Smith get Dallas Goedert. But that ball's going to be run, and it's going to be run at you. And it's coming.
I agree.
It's coming.
There's one guy you have to block up. You have to block Chris Jones.
Great
But
player,
other than that, if you get him blocked in the run game, you can pop some runs against the Chiefs on defense. And I think the Eagles might have the ball for 38 minutes.
Well,
that's the problem.
Right. And here's the other key stat. That Kansas City has the 5th-ranked rushing defense. You know why? Because they're hit by 2 touchdowns all game over everybody, all the donkeys out there. Nobody runs the ball against them. It's going to be run early and often on Sunday.
So, my good friends, my wife just came home with our lovely 3 dogs, and we got chaos in the front. So, I would love to talk more. I love all of you.
We're going home, John. I was cutting you off.
But I got to help my wife.
John, where can people find out everything about you?
Gridiron Skull 91 on Twitter, and all my files are on footballdiehards.com. Love you all, everyone. Go Eagles.
Go. Thanks, John.
Bye, John. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What do you want to talk about, Heather?
Nothing. We're gonna roll out of here. We're gonna tell people.
Great show. What a great guest, huh?
He's amazing. He's so great to listen to. You guys are great.
And you know what? I look back. So I look back at my notes from last year. And he was right 90% of the time.
He's so good.
Yeah, he's really knowledgeable. Heather,
you know what else is so good?
What?
What else is so good, Nelson? Oh God, it messed up.
Can't stop now, Heather.
My finger hit the wrong button.
Again.
I'm not doing this stuff anymore. All
Come
right.
on, Heather. I want to hear the song before I
It
leave.
messed up. I messed it up.
Okay, then you have to give us the Eagles chant to go out on.
I'll find the song.
No, I want to hear the chant. Heather, you know what I did today?
I have this so well
Heather,
queued
you know
up.
what I did today?
Piece of information into a source of
What?
I picked my 8-year-old daughter up off the bus, and I made all the kids march from the bus stop to in front of my Eagles flag, and I made them sing the Eagles fight song and recorded it and send it to all their parents.
You made it them salute the flag.
I did. Do you have the song or I'm leaving? So beautiful. Beautiful. Heather. EAGLES Eagles. We out. Bye.